Technology is fun. We need it, though. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So we've got another Hurricanes Live, number 234 here with the Wholesome One. Breaking down Miami football with the boys on the practice field for spring practice. And so we'll take your comments and questions, and the Wholesome One's going to break it down for the next hour or so. Man, you made it. Here we are.
Yeah, we are. We are here. Also, again, hopefully my computer does not go out on us because we've been dealing with technical difficulties all week, and just feels like those Tallahassee people have something over these computers, man. No cam, and my technology's tripping. Not a good day for the Canes technology-wise, right?
Last night's show, you know how many of these I've done, and it's just not the team live streams. It's all the call-in shows, all of it. It all goes through StreamYard. So I've done thousands of these. That was the first time last night that I ever got on here, and it wouldn't let me start a live stream.
Yeah, man. And even from just right when we were about to start 15 minutes ago, guys, just to let you all a little insight, my computer just went out on us. So, hey, we're ready. I hope and pray it does not go out on me. If it does, Mark, go ahead and just run with the show, and we'll be able to try to get her going at another date. But until then, we're going to try to keep swinging and give you great quality content.
So the Wholesome One has gotten as much information put together on spring practice as possible, and there seem to be a number of players that you're really focused on. Keyshawn Smith would be on that list.
That's answer number one. One of the big conversations, a lot that happens with wide receiver or running back is who is going to take RB1? Who's going to take wide receiver one? Who wants to be that man? Who's going to take this team by the horns? Well, the number one thing we don't have to worry about is quarterback. For the first time in a while, well, maybe since 2020 with De'Aaron King, we were kind of focused in on quarterback. We didn't have to really worry about quarterback, but we have TBD. And the way that TBD has things going, the way that he has us really focused offensively, I think Miami's ready to, kind of solidify themselves in that sense. Now, let's move it on outside from TBD. One of the biggest names coming out of spring ball is Keyshawn Smith. Now, we've had 2 days of full pad practice. A lot of people are waiting on Mark. Back in high school when you play, that's when everybody shows up. And when you play Pop Warner or Little League, as we call it in South Florida, okay, that's when everybody want to show up to see who gonna hit. Okay, and Coach Cristobal's practices have been very physical the entire time, so we haven't had to wait until the pads come on. I mean, I've seen pictures and videos of O-line, D-line going head-to-head with just helmets on. So it's been nothing but real aggressive style of play out of our players. So Keyshawn has been the man that has taken this spring ball kind of by the horns and made plays in both days. It really stood out. Touchdown at the touchdown, bomb at the bomb, fade route after fade route. He's doing his thing. Other young men that have stood out on the wide receiver court, Rashard Smith in the slot, according to some who have watched, said whenever he touches the ball, it seems like he's going 60 to the end zone. Whether they're doing live special teams, whether they're doing, true 11 on 11, and he takes the ace jet to the crib and no one touches him, or he takes a tunnel screen. He's also working right now behind Xavier Restrepo as the second string slot. So what that also means is that he's going up against the second and third team defense. And we have to be able to say that and put that out there because we don't want to add too much unnecessary pressure to Rashard and making it seem like he's this amazing prospect just yet. He's doing it against the guys that are on his level on the second and third team until they can get up to the first team. One of the other players that's been standing out is a pair of offensive tackles that I've come to you and talked about multiple times, Mark. I was very, very big on Michael McLaughlin when he committed. Very big on Michael McLaughlin being able to get a red shirt and kind of hold out for a bit and sit in the cooker, something that hasn't happened at Miami in years. Even to the days of Eric Flowers, which is about 10 years ago now, he was thrown out there as a true freshman. Chantrell Henderson was thrown out there as a true freshman. Brandon Linder was thrown out there as a true freshman. Zion Nelson, John Campbell. It goes. The list goes on and on and on of Miami's better offensive linemen being just thrown out there because we didn't have anyone else. Well, with these two, Chris Washington and Michael McLaughlin, they're both year 3 guys. They were both COVID redshirters. So they sat and really got in the weight room, and one had to climb from 240, 250. Now he's in the 300s, and Michael McLaughlin. Chris Washington climbed from about 260 up into the 290, 295 range. So Chris Washington has been working at right tackle. Some video has surfaced of him going one-on-one with borderline 5-star Cyrus Moss, edge rusher, where it really showed what it means to be in a strength and conditioning program for a couple years, as opposed to only being there for a couple weeks. And that's not to slight Cyrus. That's just speaking the truth. He's a young guy who is a little wiry, a little light in the behind at 6'6", 218, playing defensive end, learning and transitioning to a true defensive end position. And at left tackle, he's also taking the second team reps in Michael McLaughlin, number 79. He's taking the second team reps, but that's because he's behind one of the conference's better offensive tackles in Zion Nelson. So those are some of the young men that have been standing out according to all the outlets I was able to do research in, on all the film I was able to evaluate. Some on offense, or majority on offense. Now, let's give you some of the defensive standouts. Okay. One of the guys who I'm thoroughly surprised and really happy to hear positive stuff coming from him. Number 91, Jordan Miller. This young man is going into his 5th year at Miami. And 5th year, 19, 20, 21. 4th year at Miami. I talked about it every single week. Reshaped his body. Now he has to actually go out here and start making plays. Well, he's doing that. And I think the specificity of having a defensive tackles coach than having an edge coach is really helping these guys get some real one-on-one work and true one-on-one growth. What I mean by that is Coach Joe Salavea is coaching the defensive tackles. Okay, Coach Rod Wright is working the edge, and Jason Taylor is working the edge also. So the reason why I bring up Jordan Miller, Mark, there's this particular drill. It's called 2-on-1 double team work. What that means is you really get your 1 or 2-eye techniques get going. Your defensive ends do this against tackles and tight ends. But your interior linemen do this against centers and guards. Your 3 techniques do this against tackles and guards. So what the objective in this drill is to do is to really mimic inside run from a one-on-one perspective. What that means is everyone understands that it's run. What you have to do as a defensive lineman is identify what type of block you're getting. Who should I attack? Who should I shed? Who should I avoid? Am I quick enough to be able to swim right over and get back in the A-gap? Or am I too slow when I try to swim that they're just going to wash me down and now the A-gap is wide open? So you have to be able to make these quick decisions like that. With Jordan Miller, he's going up against Ja'Kai Clark, Cleveland Reed. Cleveland Reed's playing right guard, Ja'Kai Clark is playing center, and he's in a 2-eye technique, okay, inside shaded guard. So in this particular rep, it was beautiful. What the play was for Cleveland Reed to take over the block and Ja'Kai Clark to come around more like a puller. So Jordan Miller engages with Cleveland Reed, waits to see the pull, and just club swims him right over the top, sit and tackles the running back in the backfield. And I'm like, yes. That's what we need. And I get excited about defensive tackle. That's what I play. And it's important to me because to get young men to be able to get it, to get them to be able to react in an instant like that, because you don't know, they could have just double teamed him, but he reacted to the block properly. And for coaches, that's all you ask, is that can you translate what we do in drills? Can you translate what I've been hammering home to you in film, to one-on-ones, and then eventually over to 11 on 11? That's what we need. And Jordan Miller Show, it was just one play, but it stood out to me. And I feel like you got to give young men, especially while we're in the media. If I was in those facilities, I would just give them a check, a positive, and tell them keep it going. But for those of us in the media, it feels good to be able to give these young men their pats on the back, and not to overemphasize or make them seem like these larger than life, amazing. He's not the next Ndamukong Suh, but for me, he deserves some love. Why? Because I'm media, man. I'm not there every day. And if he were to make a bad play, I would be on him. So if he makes a good play, let's give him some love. So that's Jordan Miller. The next guy is a guy, Mark, that you watched on national TV get 5 plays and make 4 of the 5 plays he was in Leonard Taylor. Now, Leonard is rolling with the ones, so he didn't go up against the backup offensive lineman with the first team center. He goes up against Zion Nelson at left tackle and Logan Sagapolu at left guard. He's working in some guard work. Okay. So it's a down block, but it's a double team. So what that means is he's in a 3 technique, and the person that he has to attack is the guard. So when he steps and attacks the guard, he has to turn his shoulders so that when the tackle tries to push him, he's pushing him into the gap, as opposed to if he engages like this and now that tackle comes down and now he's washing me out of the play. So you have to be able to get the inside hand and get the inside of that padding and extend while pulling down on this side of the pad and turning the guard while simultaneously bending your knees and sinking into the B gap. Okay, now as I was able to demonstrate that, it takes a while to get young men to do that at full speed. Okay. Mark, this man just made it look easy. I mean, just boom, boom, shoot, and just sat. They couldn't move him. And just little things like that. It stands out to me that he's getting it. And as a year 2 guy, he can start to show what is required of a 5-star, and that's dominance. Okay, when you get that 5th star, you're listed as one of the top 5 players in the country. We got to see you do something. And he did some things good as a freshman. We got to start to see that great level. Because to me, Mark, 5 stars are 3 and done. So that means this upcoming year, you need to start looking like the late first rounder. In the 3rd year, you need to start looking like the top 15 pick if you truly are a top 5 player in the country in your recruiting class. So those are some guys on offense and defense that have stood out in spring ball the first 2 practices.
All right, folks, we got the Wholesome One here, breaking down the Canes every Thursday, 8 Eastern. Appreciate you all being here. But again, keep in mind that we want to grow this channel and grow this show in particular, and the Wholesome One's channel as well. So get on over there, check out his videos, check out his work, his content, and subscribe over there. And we want to build this show up here as much as possible as well. So just don't enjoy it yourself. Let people out there know that love Miami football in particular, that we are here. And of course, we've got other fan bases represented as well. So if you love college football, get on over here and bring some folks with you. And don't forget to hit the like button. And I appreciate everybody that reminds everyone to do just that. All right.
Fanatics. I shop on fanatics.com under the Miami Hurricanes. Not to give another platform you a shout out on your show, but I was just answering this question. They got a lot of sizes for big dudes, so that's why I like to go there.
Why was that a question? I didn't see that one.
From right there, you had it on the screen.
Oh, I did.
850 Wholesome. You shop at Fanatics or Dime Life?
Oh,
right under the right there.
Nice. Well, folks, we are wide open for your comments and questions. Otherwise, I'm going to have to dig some up. So, how many practices do we have in the books at this point?
5. We have 5 practices, about 10 left. Not about 10 left. And then you have your spring game on April 16th.
And you made those assessments. Forget the actual information that you got, but you cited some video.
Right.
You know, how much video were you able to find?
There's not. They get like the first 45 minutes of practice. Now, the media, for the first time since they have been publicly covering and posting on YouTube, is able to stay at practice the whole practice. They just can't film 11 on 11, but they can film up into the first hour, and they're welcome to go talk to whomever and ask questions and talk to players. I mean, it's because the game is not secret anymore. I mean, if you're developing a game plan based on what we're putting on Kane's All Access, for practice film, then hey, do your thing. But um, I don't see it being that big of a deal. And I'm happy that Coach Cristobal understands that, because the previous 2 regimes tried to pretend like Miami had this secret sauce, and they upload 15-second highlights from a whole practice, and didn't want the media around. The media can only be there for warm-ups and walkthroughs. That's not giving your fans due justice. But then I can go watch the Florida Gators, and they got a whole 50-minute documentary uploaded from the practice before. And all they did was spend the day off editing the video, where they follow one specific player, and this is so-and-so safety from, or this is the corner, Jason Marshall from Miami, Florida. Hey, what made you come to the Florida Gators? What made you want to be here? Switch to him and his pictures and his Pop Warner stuff, and him on National Signing Day. They have all these, and it's like, why is the University of Miami? And Mark, the answer probably has been they didn't want to put out there how bad we were. They didn't want to put that evidence on screen. So maybe that's what they were hiding, because it's an ongoing joke in the fan base as to why the legends weren't allowed to come and hang out on campus or be around our players, is because the previous regimes, not just talking about previous coach, but Coach Rick and coach before that, Golden, and the coach before that, and Coach Shannon, they didn't want to be questioned about some of the stuff that they were doing that was kind of borderline iffy. Anyhow, so I just had to put that out there, man, because we got some questions popping up.
Well, here in the next 10 sessions, there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to start to get a rude awakening about where they stand on the depth chart.
Absolutely. And to me, I think that's very important. I think transparency and being honest with young men is very important, because, Mark, you only get 4 or 5 years to do this thing. And yes, we would love to see you do it in the orange and green, but, my job is to out-recruit you every year. Your job is to never lose that job. Okay. And, regardless of your star rating, if you're the 3-star inside linebacker for the Miami Hurricanes, I can recruit 5 stars every year after you. If you're really that man, you really put in the work, you know the playbook inside and out, you're a leader of that defense. It doesn't matter who I bring in if you're really doing your thing.
Yeah, so we got a question coming in from our guy Brian, who says, H1H, what are your thoughts about the linebackers this spring? I think they can be better than expected. They were extremely undercoached and developed the last few years.
Thank you so much, Brian, for your question. Number one, I think what you bring up is a valid point. It's not an excuse. It's a valid point. They have been underdeveloped and under-recruited at linebacker and at corner, Marcus, the 2 positions we talked about. Offensive line would have been a 3rd one on there, but now I don't have to worry about offensive line for probably the next decade. And I wouldn't be surprised if Miami doesn't have a couple top 10 picks in there, with the way that Coach Cristobal and Coach Mirabal and Coach Pata and Coach Bain really go into offensive line. I watched the drills. And what I like about what I'm seeing is the specificity of certain coaches. Let me get a little bit more in depth as to what I'm saying. Talked about earlier how Coach Joe Salavea is coaching the interior defensive line. Coach Wright and Coach Taylor are coaching the edge. You're getting the same thing at linebacker. Okay. You got a middle linebacker coach and Coach Charlie Strong and the outside linebackers coach and Coach Kevin Steele. Now, by title, none of that really. You have your D-line coach, you have your edge coach, you have linebacker, you have your DC. But the way that we're running practice, they're splitting up into different groups, going to different coaches who specialize in certain positions, who can really help you grow and really help you develop on the little minuscule things to make you better because that's their specificity. Coach Charlie Strong working with the inside linebackers and guys who are cross trained. So, for example, one of the films that we watched was going over the board drills. Okay. And one of the biggest things that we see, we got 2 commits tonight for Washington brothers. Huh, okay. I'll tap into that when I tap into that. When you go to the combine, Mark, and you have those pads, and you start out in the middle, and you bust your feet, blah, 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 blah. You got to go over the bags and stay on your toes as you're going through the bags. So the first thing you do is you get to get a right or a left call from your coach. And as they're going through the bags, the key is to tap and go. Tap and go, tap and go, tap and go, tap and go. What it's teaching you is the importance of never really letting your heels touch the floor and you're playing on your toes. It's a big linebacker drill. Some defensive line coaches like to do it also just to kind of warm you up, but it's really about linebackers. And so I'm watching some of our guys go through these drills, and you see them like stepping so hard. Boom, 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 boom. And you could tell that maybe that was the emphasis before. Let me see you look like you're trying and you're straining. It's not really about that. It's about the technique. Do you get what this drill is trying to teach you? You going through this drill with the grunts and that's not football. Okay. I get it. I see you trying hard. And you see Coach Charlie Strong, he's not a yeller. So he pulls the young man aside on a one-on-one. Hey, watch this guy go through the drill. This is how I want you to do it. On your toes, on your toes. They still don't get it right. He puts the paper down and he gets in there. This is how I want you to stand. This is how you 50, 60 years old. This is how I want you to do. Toes, toes, toes. He still got it. Because what it's teaching them is the understanding that you're losing all those little minuscule seconds when your full foot hits the ground. Because technically the art of running is when your whole foot is not on the ground. It's your toes that are tapping. When it comes to track runners, they never allow their whole foot to touch the ground. It's always the balls of their feet, which is really what you're on. You're not technically on your toes. We're not Michael Jackson thing. Okay, but you're keeping the weight on the balls of your feet so that you can react faster. You can react, boom, 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 in and out. But what I love about that is, Mark, they're teaching. We're not just yelling at young men. We're not screaming at them. We're not demeaning them. We're coaching them hard. But after we've taught this, and when it comes to teaching, Mark, it doesn't matter how many times you got to go through it. We're going to do it enough until you don't get it wrong. Not until you get it right, then go, hey, we got it. No. Until you don't get it wrong. So it's about 6 minutes or so of just this one drill. Now, to the regular eye, they're like, man, can you show me something else? But to trained eyes, you could really see the big difference between what we were doing before and what we're doing now. And the fact that they're taking the time to really teach these young men the right thing. Even a guy like Corey Flagg looked way better after he was talked to, Mark. Not screamed at, no, you suck, throwing the tech. No. Hey, stay on your toes, stay on your toes. This is how I want you to do it. One of the guys that stood out in that drill was Wayman Steed. Another guy that stood out in that drill, Tyreek Austin Cave, number 18. They looked real fluid. Then you saw guys who were kind of, your walk-ons who were trying hard and they got coached up too. Then you also saw guys who were, overemphasizing the boom, 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 and slapping the pad and kind of all out of whack. I'm not going to really go into those guys. I don't want to disrespect them, but they still have a lot of coaching and a lot of growth to come from. So I really saw a lot of that. And it's going to take time to fill the young men's minds with the proper way of how to articulate your message, because a lot of people get screaming and yelling misconstrued with hard coaching. No, there's no need for me to do all of that until I know for a fact that you know how to do this. And I feel as though maybe you're being lazy or maybe you're not paying attention. That's something separate. You as a parent understand that. But I'm really excited. Sorry to go too far on
Oh, you're
that, but
good.
it's personal because I've seen it, I've dealt with it, and when it comes to these young men, they're at such an important time where if they see you react the right way, as far as how to talk to them with the respect between each other, not to demean them. I'm the old person. You listen to me. No, 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 no. No, not how you're supposed to do it. Let me teach you, educate you, correct your mistakes. We'll go over the film again if you're still doing it wrong. But I see some of the things you're doing wrong, and I really want to help you get better. So a guy that I saw really starting to take some strides and get better, number 11, Corey Flagg. Excited to see the growth that could keep coming from that young man.
Awesome stuff here with the Wholesome One every Thursday night, 8 Eastern, right here at the Voice of College Football. So we need everyone to at least hit the like button. We would love for you to get out there and tell people about the Wholesome Ones channel, and also get on out there and tell them that we are here talking Canes every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time with the Wholesome One, and subscribe here to the Miami channel. And again, tell people, I don't see any reason why with 150 to 200 people that we have on here on a regular basis that we can't triple that just in a couple of weeks. If you go out there and you get 2, 3, 4 people, come on in. You reach people on Facebook and Twitter and know people personally that we don't know and don't know that we're here talking Miami football. Yeah, Wholesome One. We do have a couple of commits coming in here. Just checked it out here on 247 Sports. So
yeah, I just saw it too.
Miami commit Robbie Washington out of Killian High School in Miami, 14th rated athlete, 32nd rated player in the state of Miami or state of Florida, and a top
no, you said it right, Mark.
Player.
State of Miami, baby.
State of Miami. That's it. It must have just
popped in your head. Yeah.
Yes. It was subliminal. Top 200 player nationally, and then what I assume to be his brother.
His twin brother. Yes, they're twins.
Bobby Washington. So Robbie and Bobby's a linebacker, not yet rated by 247 Sports, but Robbie would be the top rated player that's been brought in out of the 4 hard commits for 2023.
Feels good, man. These young men are playmakers. Linebacker, we need help. We need depth. These guys bring big. Bobby, Robbie, of course, was it Bobby the linebacker and Robbie the playmaker? Yes, Robbie is the wide receiver playmaker type. Okay, these guys, they play with a certain level. Okay, I took you back to Jaquan Johnson and Cedric Redwine. The way that some of these Killian players are coming out of that high school, they got that grit, Mark, and it's something you can't really teach. They just got that raw, what we call dog in Miami. What we're also looking for is guys who are going to be teachable, guys who are going to come in and really want to be Miami Hurricanes. And these two showed you tonight that they're ready. They're ready to be Miami Hurricanes. So they sent in the proverbial facts. Now I'm just playing. They committed and they got some time. I'm hoping that they're taking it serious. I don't necessarily agree with accepting a commitment and then telling young men that they can't go on visits, but I also don't agree with young men just committing everywhere that, their heart just falls in love with after a visit. So I'm hoping these young men take some real responsibility and some true leaning into what that term commitment means. I'm committing to this program, committing to this head coach. Um, I wish more young men thought about it that way because committing to a position coach, in my opinion, is not the smartest because if you're committing to a premier program, that position coach more likely won't be there when you graduate. Okay, so you need to be wanting to commit to the culture and to the program and to the head coach, in my opinion. But happy to get them.
There's talk both in the chat and I've seen all this talk elsewhere online.
I know where you're going with this one.
What's that, Wholesome One?
I know where you're going with this one. I hope it's right.
I'm going in two different directions here. One would be Justin Flo out of Oregon. Of course, we know that Miami was in the running for him coming out of high school as one of the top linebacker recruits in the country, and also USC and a few others. And he ended up with Mario Cristobal at Oregon. So where's Mario Cristobal coaching now? So that seems to be a flit. Justin Flo has a ton of ability, had some injury issues here in 2021. Then the other one that I see popping up, people are asking in the chat about the UCLA linebacker, and that would be Mitchell Agood, who played a lot of football for UCLA the last 2 years with 78 tackles, 14.5 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 3 pass breakups, 6 forced fumbles. That's in 2 seasons for UCLA. So, yeah, Justin Flo.
Mark, I'm trying not to get excited. All right. I'll take this route with you. So I'm not going to really comment on it because the last two, Mark, that was hinted at and I didn't comment came out to be true. Do you remember what those 2 things were? And it's Miami related, of course.
Sure.
Coaching staff related.
Yeah. I was going to say, I got these. Was one Kevin Steele?
No. One was not Kevin Steele. They're really recent. And I did not comment about them purposefully because I felt like if I said anything, they wouldn't happen. If I didn't say something, they were going to happen. The chat can help you out.
I don't think one was Charlie Strong, was it?
No. Because it was brought up on your channel multiple times. There you go, Brian.
Oh,
Brian
yeah.
Got it.
Jason
I
Taylor.
remember I refused to say anything. I was like, I'm not going to touch that. Because, you didn't want to, it's like the boogeyman doesn't exist until you acknowledge him kind of thing. And the second one was Josh Gaddis at offensive coordinator.
Oh, I was going to see. He was the first person I thought of, but I thought he blindsided all of us. I didn't remember you.
No, it was one of those things where, in my research and in fantasy world, he would have been a perfect fit for Miami, and I've always thought he would be a really good fit, even from his time as a wide receivers coach at Alabama. So I didn't want to touch it. I just let it be. So I'm going to take that approach. I'm not even going to say his name. But for that linebacker that reached for the Miami hat when he really wanted to go to Miami, but we were a down program, so you had to pick the other hat and go with the O instead of the U. I will leave it to that, and I'm hoping that the same process I used before comes around this time because we need it. We need it.
Getting back to the football in just a second, I'm going to ask Wholesome One that if you really enjoyed a particular channel on YouTube, if you really enjoyed a specific live stream on YouTube, what would you do? What would you do to make sure that that kept going as long as possible?
I would hit the like button, tell people about it, and donate.
Good stuff.
Yeah. You know, before I ever got this spot, I did that. When this spot was reserved for Cam Underwood and some other people who did amazing jobs covering the Miami Hurricanes with you in the mid to latter half of last decade, in the 16 and 17. At that point, I just went by D Holloway, and I would donate, I would like, I would share on Twitter. That the live stream was on, and I would put it in these Facebook groups, and I'm like, you guys got to get into this. And now look at God. I'm blessed to have one of those seats. But that kind of goes full circle for me on that one.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, it is great to have you here. You've been a blessing to myself in this channel and expanding what we do for college football in Miami in particular. And when we can bring your level of enthusiasm and expertise and your commitment and passion and drive and knowledge, put all that together. And, you certainly have a large slice of what you know and your approach. And then we've got, of course, Cam, who comes on a regular basis. He's got his level of expertise and his approach. And that's why I just love to hear from all of you. It just adds to my knowledge, and it makes it for more engaging conversation and discussion, sometimes debate, because we get different quality of perspectives, not just anybody on here rambling and ranting, just quality perspectives and passionate perspectives on college football in general, but specifically the Canes.
And I appreciate that, and because it takes a lot, and it's a great opportunity. Whether we were on the main channel, and then to be able to get this channel well over 1,000, and now you got all these other side channels. That was such a great idea, as opposed to trying to clamor it all on one channel. You started to.
That's what I was doing for a while.
Yeah.
I was releasing videos like every 2 hours.
Yeah, and you got the idea. Now, one thing I will say, Mark, you got to be careful on your editing, man. This last like 8 videos that you chopped up from before.
What happened?
You had the Tallahassee preview pop up.
I saw that. I heard that. I don't edit those myself.
Oh, you have.
I don't do any of this editing. We have hired that out. I edit everything on the main channel, and I've hired out, I should say, like 98% of the other. And actually, I was looking, I know what it was. We had Jordan and Northfresh on last night.
Right.
They were on, and I was watching them, and I was scrolling through some of the comments, and all of a sudden I see one person say that, another person. Why do you have the Miami or the FSU logo on the front of them? Thinking, well, we screwed up there.
And it happens, and that's why I didn't trip, because at the end of the day, you see the logo behind me, you recognize my face. Not trying to be boastful, but I would much rather eat cow manure than cover that program. So one of the best things that happened today is Jarvis Brownlee, a local Miami Gardens guy, decided to hit transfer portal and leave that program. So, hey, blessings unto him. Happy for him, taking his future into his own hands, getting away from that, pile of garbage.
We've got our guy, Jeff Lynn. Good to see you here. Jeff's been watching for a long time. He's got a comment. He's also got a question. So first the comment to go right in line with what we've been talking about. Man, you guys are on Facebook groups. I have joined probably 7 or 8 Miami Facebook groups. I don't know how much it's helped, but I'll go in there every so often and I'll either just make a post and say, join the Wholesome One and myself. We'll be there Thursday, and I send a link, or after the show, maybe the next day, I'll send a link and post it in a Facebook group. But what Jeff's saying right there, post a link to the videos on Twitter. Mark will have more than 10,000 subs before the football season. And also, Jeff's got a question with Will Mallory's
Well, hold
injury.
on.
Sure.
Hold on now. He's asking us to go to Twitter. Now, Mark puts this on Twitter every single time.
Yeah.
What we have to do is make sure that we're going, retweeting, and liking that. Okay. He does every single time. Going live now. Just recapped Miami this with H1H or with, Paul or North Fresh. So you all, I mean, there's thousands of people that watch this at some point. You follow Mark on Twitter, maybe you follow me. Go ahead and find that link. All it takes 2 seconds. Bing and bing. Just hit like, hit retweet, and then if you want to quote tweet it, do that. That's okay. And put some fire emojis or you emoji, whatever. But it helps us, and it helps. You're doing your part. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. If you're someone that doesn't want to donate, well, sharing, hitting the like button, going down in the comment section and just saying, "Hey, great show." Hashtag Rewatch Squad. Can you guys touch on this? How's recruiting? Can you break down defensive line next week? Can you talk about cornerback depth next week? All those little things help us so much as content providers, because then that allows us to know what you would like. So if you want to go ahead and help out, that's the best way to do it, man. Like, share, subscribe, of course, but also get engaged. Hop in the chat with the hashtag Live Squad. When it's over and it's pushed out there into the upload, go in the comment section and ask questions. Go back and forth. Me and Mark are in those chats, responding to you all majority of the time when we can. So it's just something to put out there, because I think that some people they want to feel an invite. So I'm giving it to you. Come on in, help us out, help us grow this thing, and help us to be able to continue to give great quality content, because that's what we want to do. But we also want to give it not just from our perspective and what we're seeing. We want to answer your personal questions.
Well said, because it didn't happen tonight because I had a live stream call-in show right before this show, so I was tied up. But 99.9% of the time, I will send out a tweet like an hour and a half, something in that range, before we go on live with the Wholesome One. And then we jump on here and I set up the Wholesome One with the first question or the first topic, and I'll jump back into Twitter and I'll say, we are live right now. And I'll tweet it out again. So I tweet it at least twice every time we go live with the Wholesome One. Jeff Lynn earlier had asked about Will Mallory's injury, which I know what the deal is with injuries, especially at the college level, and trying to determine the severity. But do you have any idea?
Yes.
What the status is?
So Will Mallory's injury is significant, Mark. We don't know if it's a torn labrum. We don't know if it was from contact, but he is out for the rest of the spring. We don't know if it requires surgery, so I don't want to put that on there. But Will Mallory will be out for the rest of the spring due to a shoulder injury. Unfortunately for Will Mallory. Now, pause. Fortunately for the other young men in that position, guys like Khalil Brantley, guys like Jalen Skinner, guys like Dominique Memorelli, and a guy like Elijah Arroyo, who was already turning heads, this is your opportunity to show who and what you are. A lot of us have our preconceived notions about Will Mallory, what he brings to the table. He's put years worth of film. When he's confident and he catches that ball in open space, Will Mallory is one of the better ACC tight ends, maybe top 6, top 7 tight end in the ACC. Okay. Who is Elijah Arroyo? Who is Dominique Memorelli? Who is Khalil Brantley? And who will Jalen Skinner be? This is an opportunity for you to start that track down the right path, because injury is very unfortunate, but it is a part of this sport that we love. And when opportunities present themselves, you take it. It is very unfortunate. You pray for those who have dealt with injury, but when it comes to that and an opportunity presents itself before you, you must take it. You must take it.
We've got a question here from Nate. And I think while it's a good question, it might be a little bit too early to ask it about the position groups and which one would be the most surprising to you this spring. Well, there's only been 5 practices. Maybe I'll ask it in a little bit different way going forward. What position groups do you really feel need to surprise?
I think offensive line has started to take that step. So I will say that I'm not necessarily surprised because I think going from 1 coach to 4 is a big step. Okay, and you could argue that 2 of the 4 are top 10 in the world at coaching that position. Now, yeah, they do come together. So Alex Mirabal is in the right hip of Coach Cristobal. And Coach Cristobal was thought of as one of the best, if not the best, offensive line coach in the country in his time at Alabama. Now, you probably could argue guys, the offensive line coach from Wisconsin, the offensive line coach from Iowa, who's been spitting out offensive linemen for a decade and a half. Sure. I completely understand if those are the people you want to say. But it is unarguable that our head coach is a top 5, at least top 5 offensive line coach. Coach Mirabal is a top 10, at least, offensive line coach. And you match them up with them both having assistants who are very good quality control assistants who are young and up and coming in the coaching fraternity and in the coaching business. So I'm not really surprised. I expect them to take a big step. I'm surprised at the growth at linebacker already. Some of those players look real good. Wayman Steed, okay, Wesley Basaint, guys who kind of play the position. They come from the same defense, the same defensive coordinator at Miami Central. They're about 4 years apart, but in that same time, they were coached by the same coach. His name is escaping me, and I don't want to disrespect him, but the same guy has been coaching, same brother, has been coaching at Miami Central for 4 years now, under Coach Rod Smith, who is now our head of recruiting. They have been taking it over at linebacker, doing pretty well, spitting out some nice guys. Terrence Lewis, Wesley Basaint, Wayman Steed, those are 3 guys who are ranked top 20 to top 30 linebackers in the country nationally at their specific position. In 4 years, they spit out 3 of them. Okay, so there's some real coaching and developing going on at the linebacker position coming out of Miami Central. All right, but there's some steps being taken. There's some guys like Gilbert Frierson, guys like Coach Joe. Thank you, Cortez Smith. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Guys like Wesley Basaint, guys like Wayman Steed, guys like Keontra Smith. Those 3 to 4 linebackers have really been turning heads. So I'm surprised to see the growth. Now, I haven't watched 11 on 11. I've watched 2 linebacker videos, and it's night and day from before. Night and day. And again, I'm seeing real teaching, not seeing flip outs, not seeing screaming, not seeing demeaning. I'm seeing some damn coaching, some teaching, some people willing to help you with what they're seeing you're doing wrong because they really want to see you do better because they know you can do better. I think the secondary will be all right. Good to great safety, yes. Corner, I think we still got some things to work on there. So I would say offensive line and linebacker are the ones that needed and are actually starting to make some strides forward. Again, I could come back a week from now and go, Mark, we won a nice championship. No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say, Mark, we're doing really well. And from even the last week I've spoken to you, I've seen young men get better even more. And, again, some people talk about me being long-winded, but it's all right. God bless you anyhow. What people don't understand is that is what spring ball is for, Mark. It's the ability to bring these young men in. You spent the offseason reviewing their film. You sat down in exit interviews. And you look at them in the eyes, and some kind of have their head down, Mark, and some are saddened, and some walk in with their chest up, like, man, I'm the man. And you're sitting there with your notes, and you're just like, how do I convey this to him that I need you to go all in? I need you to take what I'm about to say to you in the right way. I need you to be able to really grasp what I'm trying to get across to you because I want you to get better. Don't take what I'm saying as you suck, find another school, here's some transfer papers. That's not what I'm saying. But there was a lot of growth that we needed, man. A lot of growth. And none of these coaches, except for DVD and Coach Field, was here last year. So a lot of these coaches are building new relationships with people that they may have recruited at other institutions. And now they get a chance to actually coach them at Miami. And it's a different vibe to it. But they're taking to the coaching really well. And it's meshing together well. Because all they want to see is these people grow. They want to see these young men grow as players and as people. And when you have young men who buy in, it makes that transition so much easier. As opposed to them fighting against you or you're fighting against them. There's some beef, or you said something that hurt their feelings, or you didn't give them the reps that they thought they deserved, whatever. When you're able to squash it, really mesh together and coach these young men to the fullest ability and to see them start to progress, it's a very satisfying feeling. Now, it's not time to take your foot off the gas and say, I made it. We got it. Good spring. It's time to put the accelerator on. Because what we do now, Mark, the preparation we do now, when it comes to film study, when it comes to evaluation, when it comes to getting in that playbook, when it comes to building relationships, you win games in August, September, November, December. You win them now. You win them now with the building blocks that you're putting in. A lot of people think you win them when you line up and play football and you flip on the switch. That's not how this game works. The best of the best take spring ball and training camp the most serious. When the games come, that's when the fun starts, Mark. But right now, it's the grueling dog days. You got to be able to lift the young men up, being critical, of course. Lift them up, build some confidence in them, but you got to beat them up a little bit so that their bodies can rebound and be strong and ready for war come this upcoming fall.
You know what I would love to be able to do here, and I think about this for my overall channels, just in general, but specifically for this show, is go through all of Miami's 12 games last year, and let's say I watch a half of a game leading into our show sometime that week, and then I pick out a bunch of things. And I'm not saying I'm going to do this because I unfortunately have way too many things to do. I don't have time to do this, but this is what I would love to do, is start from week 1 and maybe toss out the Central Connecticut State game or whatever, a few games here and there, but most of the games, 9 or 10, 11 games, and watch the game, come across, take some notes and say, I want to show the wholesome one this. Why did that happen? Why did that happen? I don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, did he miss a block? Why did he miss that tackle? Wow, that was a great play. Whatever. And that's how I'd love to add to this show as well.
Mark, I got all the games recorded. So if you ever want to just give me the timestamps, we can do that easily.
Yeah, I'd like to show the plays on here as well.
Oh yeah, well, I mean
that while you're breaking it down, which I don't necessarily even know how to do that. I can do that on StreamYard, right? I can pull up an extra window and.
Yep. So all you would do is go to your share button at the bottom down here.
Yep.
And you would hit screen share. Now, when you hit screen share, you go ahead and tap that same screen, like tap your screen that's up there right there. And it'll, like, for example, I'm showing you down here. Okay. Share. So if you want to put that up so that you can show.
Whoops, my bad.
No, you're fine. So what that would do, and then all you would do is go here. Then we would go to YouTube and pull up whatever game it was,
Yeah.
and you go full screen with it and
Nice.
kind of talk. And we're not going to do that now because it would demonetize your show. So
Yeah.
we don't want to do that right now. But if we ever want to, do that again or at some point, then um, you let me know. Again, I could also share because, like I said, I have them saved. So if we were to really break that down, and let's say sometime in the summer when there's nothing to talk about, we wanted to get through. Let's say we're re-reviewing Miami, Michigan State, a game that was toe-to-toe until Michigan State eventually pulled away late. We're
Yep.
reviewing Miami Pitt, reviewing Miami NC State, three of the better games of last year, 2 wins and a loss, and just review what went right, what went wrong, things of that nature. I could easily do that for you.
So regardless of where I pull those videos from, it's going to demonetize the video.
Yeah, I even went in and downloaded the videos and still tried to show it as a file on my laptop, and it still demonetizes. It's just how YouTube gets us sometimes.
Yep.
Or we could do it on a Patreon and give the Patreon
exactly.
crew something.
Exactly. We could get the super chat kicked in, then that's what I would do. Absolutely. But all right, good stuff. We do have a Discord as well. Join us on Discord. What happens there is you go to Patreon, search Mark Rogers TV, patreon.com, search Mark Rogers TV, sign up there. I send you a link. And basically Discord, if you're not familiar, is just a big chat room. And you go in there and we've got about 50 or 55 folks in there talking college football.
It's fun.
There's Tim from USC who joins us on a regular basis on our Miami shows here, watching those condensed games. The 1 hour ones would be fun leading up to the season. Absolutely. That's what I would love to do, Tim. If we had the support otherwise financially, I would punt the monetization from YouTube, which I can't do right now. And I would love to, man, I'd be showing all sorts of games, whether it be with an expert like the Wholesome One or just myself, be doing call-in shows and be showing games and just talking college football with everyone. And when something hits me, be like, did you see that play? We're going to back that up. Da, 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 da.
One of the other things that would be great is spring game reviews.
Oh,
because I think spring game reviews would be amazing because now we'll be able to spotlight guys going into the season as opposed to guys from last year. Where you get some of those people on who can really speak about their team and say, hey, this guy last year was nothing. Look at him now. Look at his physique and look at his attention to detail. All that kind of stuff. So if we were to do some spring game reviews for a West Virginia, for a Notre Dame, for Miami, for Bama, however you break it down, I think that would be an amazing addition to the Mark Rogers TV.
Absolutely. We could look at Miami's opponents.
Oh, yeah.
This
we
year.
got a big one week 3.
Most of them be on the ACC network.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Tim, appreciate you being here as always. Everybody else as well. Thanks for joining us tonight. And get on over and support the Wholesome One on his channel. There he is. Wholesome One
really
all the way
appreciate
right
it.
here on YouTube.
Would really appreciate it, guys. We just did a spring practice number 4 breakdown from Tuesday. I'm in the process of editing today's breakdown, and it will be uploaded by tonight at some point. It could be 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, something like that. Or if I wait till tomorrow, just look out for a day 5 recap where I break down some of the film, not the film itself, but talk about some of the things I watched. And I also have a section of the show called Coaches Comments, where I break down what the coaches are saying in the interviews and really tell you what they're trying to say without saying that. So it's a new addition to the show. It's something that I like to do because I'm fluent in 3 languages: English, Spanish, and coaching. So I'm able to speak them. So
that's it.
And break it down.
I'm still working on 1. All right, Wholesome One, we appreciate it, man. You have a great
no problem, guys.
week.
Yeah, you too, man. God bless it as always. Okay.